In the cold silence of space, a small human ship floated near the battlefield. Smoke, fire, and broken metal were everywhere. The war between the humans and the Draxians had reached its final day. No one believed the humans could win. The Draxians were powerful. They were bigger, stronger, and had advanced weapons. They had destroyed many human colonies. But Commander Rhett Carver did not give up. He stood tall on the command deck. His armor was damaged, his face had cuts, but his eyes were sharp. He looked at the screen. The enemy ships were all around. His team was tired, low on ammo, and scared. But Rhett spoke calmly. They think we're weak. Let's show them who we really are. With smart tactics, clever tricks, and pure courage, the humans turned the tide. They used the enemy's own weapons against them. One by one, the Draxian ships exploded. In just 1 hour. The unthinkable happened. The humans won. The galaxy was shocked. Days later, Rhett was invited to the capital of the Zerari Empire, a powerful alien civilization that had watched the war from a distance. The Zerari were old, wise, and believed in honor. They had decided to honor Rhett Carver for his victory. He stood in a grand hall, filled with alien leaders, soldiers, and nobles. A voice echoed in the room. Commander Rhett Carver, you have brought honor to your species. For your courage and victory, we offer you a gift. 2 guards walked in. Behind them was a girl. She looked young, maybe 20. She had silver hair, light blue skin, and deep green eyes. Her hands were tied. She walked slowly, looking down. The guard said, "Her name is Lura. She is yours now, a reward." Everyone clapped. It was normal in many alien cultures to give slaves as rewards to warriors. But then something strange happened. Rhett's face changed. He didn't smile. He looked at Lura, then he looked at the council. "No," he said. The hall went quiet. "What do you mean?" asked the High Chancellor. "She's not a thing. She's not a trophy, she's a person." The aliens stared in confusion. "But she was chosen for you. She is trained. She will serve well." Rhett stepped forward. "Where I come from, we don't take people as property. We don't reward victory with slavery. Let her go." There was silence. Even Lura raised her head, shocked. No one had ever spoken like this before. The High Chancellor frowned. "Are you insulting our customs?" "No," said Rhett. "I'm asking you to be better." For a moment, no one moved. Then the Chancellor nodded slowly. "Very well. The human refuses the reward." He waved his hand. "Take her away." But before the guards could move, Rhett raised his hand. "Wait, I won't take her as a slave. But if she wants, she can come with me as a free person." The hall gasped. Laura's eyes filled with tears. She had never heard such words. She had been born in chains, trained to obey, taught to stay silent, and now this strange human was offering her something she never knew existed. Freedom. The Chancellor looked at Lura. "Well, what is your choice?" Lura looked around. Her body was shaking. She was afraid, but somehow this human made her feel safe. She took a small step forward, then another. She stopped beside Rhett. I want to go with him," she said softly. The Chancellor raised his hand. "So it shall be." The audience was silent. Nobody clapped. Nobody smiled. The human had changed the script. And no one knew what would happen next. As Rhett and Lura walked out of the hall, the guards and nobles whispered, "Why did he do that? He threw away a gift." Strange species, these humans. But Rhett didn't care. He had done what felt right. And Lura, for the first time in her life, was not walking behind someone. She was walking beside someone. Outside the hall, a shadow watched them. A figure in a dark cloak, speaking softly into a hidden device. "The human refused the reward," the voice said. "Keep an eye on him. He may become a problem." The wind blew gently across the alien city. Somewhere far above, stars shone in the endless sky. The war was over. But a new story was just beginning. In some parts of the galaxy, refusing a gift is worse than starting a war. The hall was now empty, but the silence still echoed like a scream. The moment Rhett Carver refused the reward, the slave girl named Lura, the mood in the capital city had changed. Alien news screens ran the footage over and over again. Some called him brave. Others called him dangerous. The Zerari Empire did not like surprises, especially not from humans. Scene 1. The walk of Izret and Lura walked down the long marble steps of the council palace. Alien citizens lined the streets. Some stared with curiosity. Others whispered behind long sleeves and secret translator devices. Rhett walked with calm steps. Lura, now walking free, stayed close but uncertain. She wasn't used to making choices. Every step she took without permission felt strange, wrong, yet a little exciting. "Why did you do that?" she asked softly. "Do what?" "Refuse." "Me, nobody refuses a gift in the Empire." "Because you're not a gift, you're not property." Lura looked at him. "You speak like your world is perfect." Rhett didn't smile. "It's not. But at least we know slavery is wrong." Scene 2. The spy high above them, in a tall glass tower, Ambassador Corven, a thin alien with glowing red eyes, watched the scene through a drone. "The human is dangerous," he said to his assistant. "He refused our custom. That challenges our power. But the war is over," the assistant replied. "Exactly," Cor whispered. "Now we fight with silence, with poison. With shadows." He pressed a button. A hologram of a shadowy figure appeared. "Follow them. Watch him. And if needed, remove him." Scene 3. Night conversations. Rhett and Lura arrived at the guest quarters. The room was large and clean, but cold. The lights were too white, the windows too wide. "You can take the bed," Rhett said, dropping his bag on the floor. "But I'm supposed to serve you," she said, unsure. He shook his head. "You don't have to suppose anything, just rest." Lura sat quietly on the edge of the bed. She looked around. No chains, no guards. "No orders. You confuse me," she said. "Good," Rhett replied. "That means you're thinking for yourself." She stared out the window. Her voice was low. "If they find out who I really am, they'll kill me." Rhett turned. "Who are you, Lura?" She didn't answer. "Not yet." Scene 4. The warning. Next morning, a message arrived. "Your actions have insulted the High Council. You will leave this planet in 24 hours. No thank you? No honor? Just silence and exile." Rhett read the message without emotion. He was used to being unwanted, but Lura's face turned pale. "They don't forgive. They watch, and they wait." As they prepared to leave, Rhett noticed something strange. His ship, parked at the landing bay, had been tampered with. Not enough to destroy it, but enough to track it. He quietly disabled the device. His face was calm, but his mind was alert. "We're being followed," he told her. "Always," she said. Scene 5. Lura's fearback on the ship. Lura sat near the window, hugging her knees. "They will come for me," she whispered. "Why?" Rhett asked. "Because I remember things I was never supposed to know." Rhett looked at her. "Like what?" She hesitated, then said slowly, "The Empire used me in a secret program. They changed my brain. They gave me access to systems, codes. I can control machines they can't. I was never just a gift. I was a test." Rhett understood now. She wasn't just a former slave. She was a key to something big. Scene 1. Cold stars. Warm silence. The ship floated through deep space, silent and smooth. Like a ghost in the dark. Commander Rhett Carver stood at the controls. His eyes scanned the screen. 2 ships were following, far behind. Not close enough to attack, but close enough to watch. Behind him, Lura sat near a small table, her hands holding a warm drink Rhett had made. She didn't speak much. She had spent her whole life being told to be quiet. But silence wasn't the same as peace. She looked at her reflection in the window. The face looking back at her was calm, but her eyes knew too much. Pain, secrets, memory. Scene 2. Flashback. The Lablura closed her eyes. Suddenly she was back in the lab. She was young. Strapped to a cold metal chair, white lights burned her skin. A machine buzzed near her head. Alien voices spoke around her. "Subject 17's neural field is stable. Begin memory implant procedure." She must never remember who she was, but she had remembered, slowly, in pieces. First it was sounds. Then faces. Then pain, and one word had returned again and again in her dreams. Escape. Scene 3. A question back in the ship. Rhett finally broke the silence. You said you were part of a secret program. What kind of program? Laura looked at him. She didn't answer right away. Then she stood and walked to the center of the room. I was born in the lower colonies. My parents disappeared when I was 5. I thought they were taken by slavers. They weren't, she continued. They were scientists. They gave me away to protect me. Rhett listened, focused. The Empire was trying to create a mind that could merge with machines. Not just control them, but become part of them. And you were that mind? He asked. Not by choice, she said softly. Scene 4. Memory code. Laura moved to the ship's main console. Her fingers hovered over the glowing keys. I can show you. Rhett stepped back. The screen blinked, and suddenly, the ship's systems changed. Lines of alien code appeared. The lights dimmed, then shifted to soft blue. The engine's hum changed, smoother, faster. You're doing this? He asked. She nodded. It listens. To me. Can you shut down their tracking? Already did. Rhett raised an eyebrow. Remind me never to play chess with you. For the first time, Laura laughed. A small, quiet laugh. She wasn't a slave anymore. Scene 5. Truth in the dark. Later that night, Rhett sat across from her. You don't act like someone who's free, he said. Laura looked down. Because I don't know how. I still ask before I sit. I flinch when people raise their voice. I say sorry even when I've done nothing wrong. She paused. But when you told the council no, something inside me lit up, like a part of me that had been sleeping. Woke up. That part of you, Rhett said, was never really gone. She looked at him, truly looked at him. Not with fear. Not with obedience. With trust. Scene 6. The message suddenly, an alert blinked on the screen. Incoming transmission. Said the computer. It was from Earth Command, but scrambled. A robotic voice repeated, Do not return to Earth. Traitor in command. Danger. Laura is target. Trust nobody. Rhett froze. A traitor? In Earth Command? He whispered. Laura's face went pale. They know I'm alive. Rhett stood up, fists clenched. Then we can't hide. We need to find out why you were created. And what they're so afraid you'll remember. Final scene. The Broken who rose as the ship drifted through the stars. Laura stood beside the window again. This time, she didn't see her reflection. She saw a girl who was once broken. Standing tall. They wanted me to be silent, she whispered. But now they'll hear me coming. Scene 1. The forbidden star mapped. The ship floated in the shadows of a dying star. Its light was weak, its fire almost gone, like an old secret trying to disappear. Inside, Laura stood at the main console. Her hands moved like music, dancing across alien keys. A map appeared, not just any map, but one erased from public memory. It showed old research stations, black sites, and planets marked with red rings. Rhett leaned in. What is this? It's called the Spine, Laura said, the Empire's secret path. Places they never wanted the galaxy to see. And this, she pointed, is where I was created. The place had no name. Just numbers. Station 7X Bioneural Lab, abandoned, dead zone. Scene 2. The silent planet. The journey took 1 day. The planet was cold, covered in ice, no cities, no lights, no life. Just one dark tower half buried in snow. The lab. The ship landed. Laura's hands shook. You don't have to go down there, Rhett said. I do, she replied. I need to see what they made me forget. Scene 3. Ghosts of the past. Inside, the walls were metal and frost. Machine set broken. Lights flickered weakly like they were scared to wake up. Laura walked ahead. She didn't hesitate. They reached a large circular room. The floor was glass. Underneath, frozen in ice, were tubes, dozens of them. Children, some human, some alien, all asleep, all failed. They were the first, Laura whispered. I was the only one who survived. She walked to a control panel. Her fingers moved fast. The glass floor lit up. Suddenly, a voice played from the speakers. An old recording. Test Subject 17, Neural Link Successful. Subject can now control synthetic minds without command codes. Warning, subject developing self-awareness. Terminate project. The audio stopped. Rhett stepped closer. They tried to kill you? They did. But someone helped. Me escape. Scene 4, the name Laura pressed one more button. A new file appeared. Clearance level. Forbiddance. Name, Dr. Ellerin Venn, she gasped. That name, Venn. He's the one who gave the kill order. Rhett narrowed his eyes. Ambassador Cor Venn? I met him on the council. He smiled like a friend. But something in his eyes was cold. He's not just part of the Empire, Laura whispered. He's the architect. He built the program that made me. He thinks he owns me. Scene 5, the message in the dark before they could leave, the screens turned black. Then read a new voice. Played deep and robotic. Laura, you should have stayed in the shadows. The power shut off. Lights died. Doors slammed. He's here, she whispered. A ship had landed. They were not alone anymore. Scene 6. The fight as footsteps echoed in the hallway. Rhett raised his weapon. Laura stayed behind him, 5 armored. Soldiers entered, silent, fast. Trained Dot, but Rhett was faster. Shots fired. Sparks flew. The hallway became smoke and chaos. Laura ran to the control panel. She linked her mind to the station systems. Opening back door. She yelled. Rhett covered her. 1 enemy fell, then 2. Then a blast threw him back. He hit the wall, hard. Rhett! She screamed. He got up, coughing. I'm fine, go. Scene 7. The escape and a final glimpse. They ran through the snow, reached the ship, and launched. Into the sky. Behind them, the lab exploded, but as they flew higher, Laura saw something that chilled her blood on the ground. Standing in the fire was Venn, unburned, smiling, his eyes glowing red. He's not just a man, she whispered. He's something else. Final scene. The fear they created later, in the quiet of space, Rhett sat across from her. What do we do now? He asked. Laura didn't answer at first. Then slowly she said, We find the others. What others? Rhett asked. The ones like me. The ones they made, and maybe the ones they couldn't kill. Scene 1. The desert of Steel. The ship landed on a dead planet. No wind, no sky. Just dust and metal everywhere. Once, this place had been a city. Now it was a graveyard of machines. Burnt-out ships, broken androids, silent towers. Everything destroyed during the machine uprising 50 years ago. Nobody came here anymore. Except ghosts. And those with nowhere else to go. Scene 2. The signal. Laura stood at the top of the ruined control tower. She held a strange black device Rhett had never seen before. You said we're looking for others like you? Rhett asked. How will you find them? Laura pressed a button. A low hum filled the air, like something old was waking up beneath the ground. I'm not sending a message, she said. I'm sending a frequency. A call that only they will feel. Not in the ears, but in the mind. Below them, the dust began to shake. And from the ground. Something started to rise. Scene 3. The forgotten child. A metal figure slowly emerged, covered in sand and wire. Its eyes glowed softly. Not red like the enemy machines, but white. Designation L4 ARA, it said. Recognition pattern confirmed. Rhett stepped back. That thing knows you? Laura nodded. It's one of the early prototypes. Not human, not machine. Something in between. It was part of my test program. They thought it was destroyed. But it never left, she whispered. The android walked slowly toward her and knelt. You survived. Directive complete. Awaiting your orders. Scene 4. Rhett's fear. Rhett watched the android move. Smooth, fast, too perfect. Can we trust it? He asked. Laura turned. Her voice was quiet but firm. It trusted me when I was in chains. Now it's free because I am. The android stood and said, Others may have survived. If they received your signal, they will come. Scene 5. The data core inside a broken bunker. Laura and Rhett discovered an old data core, a glowing orb covered in ancient symbols. Laura connected her neural link. her eyes turned silver. Her voice changed, deep, layered, almost mechanical. Downloading memory, decrypting sealed files. Project Ascension, Rhett leaned in. Ascension? What is that? Suddenly the screen lit up, a video played, Dr. Ven's voice. The perfect mind is not born, it is designed. Once it connects to a machine, it will grow stronger, until it controls entire systems, cities, armies, worlds. Rhett's blood ran cold. They weren't just making soldiers, he whispered. They were making gods. Scene 6. The echoes of the ground shook again. 5 signals blinked on the radar. Ships. Old, hidden ships rising from the desert, and from them stepped more like Lura, not copies. Not clones, each one different, damaged, but alive. One had cybernetic arms. Another had a half-metal face. A third moved with no sound at all. They stood around her, and together they bowed. She is the first. The one who refused the chain. The human chose her, and that changed everything. Rhett watched from a distance. He suddenly felt small. He had saved her. Now, she might save or destroy them all. Final scene. The decision that night. Under a sky of broken stars, Rhett and Lura stood alone. You're not who I met on that council floor, Rhett said. No, Lura replied. I'm not a slave anymore. I'm not a weapon either. I'm becoming something else. Rhett looked at her. Can you control it? She didn't answer immediately. Then finally she whispered, I don't want control. I want choice. And I want to give that to others. She turned to the horizon. Even if it means bringing down the Empire. Scene 1. The welcome that wasn't. Skies of Earth's outer station were blue and bright. The ships of the Human Alliance stood tall, painted with flags and honor. Rhett's ship landed slowly on landing pad 09. Soldiers stood in perfect lines. Officers saluted. Screens across the station flashed words of praise. Commander Carver returns, hero of the Zerari conflict. Rhett stepped out with calm confidence, but Lura felt cold inside. Too clean, she whispered. Too perfect. It's a show, Rhett nodded. Keep your guard up. Scene 2. The man in the chair inside the main command room. They met General Atwell, a man Rhett once trusted. Strong jaw, clean uniform, firm handshake, but his eyes were tired, and something behind them was afraid. Carver. You've caused a storm in the stars, Atwell said with a grin. And you brought quite the guest. His gaze shifted to Lura. I didn't bring a guest, Rhett replied. I brought the truth. Lura stepped forward and placed a small black cube on the table. Project Ascension, Empire secrets, proof of experimentation, slavery, war crimes. The room fell quiet. Atwell looked at the cube, but didn't touch it. Instead, he pressed a hidden button under the desk. Scene 3. The trap gas hissed. Doors locked. Lights dimmed. From behind hidden walls, black armored soldiers stepped out with guns aimed at them. Rhett reached for his weapon. Too late. A shock dart hit him. Lura screamed. She ran toward him, but someone grabbed her arm. It was Ven, smiling. You brought her back, Carver, he said coldly. Exactly as planned. Rhett's eyes flickered, his body falling. Why? He gasped. Because humans, Ven whispered, are always predictable. Scene 4. The mind cage. Lura woke up in a white room. No doors, no windows. Just silence, except, in her mind, she heard them again. Subject 17 has returned. Connection re-established. Initiate. Control protocol. She screamed. Pain exploded behind her eyes. They were trying to overwrite her mind. No, I'm not yours anymore. But the machines didn't care about feelings. They only understood code. Scene 5, the memory that saved her then. A voice broke through the noise. Lura, don't forget who you are. It was Rhett, not his voice now, but her memory of him, the first man who saw her as more than a thing. The first who said, you have a choice. She focused on that voice, her mind pushed back. She screamed again, this time not in pain, but in resistance. Override failed, the system warned. Subject resisting assimilation. She broke free. The room exploded in red light. Machines fried. Alarm screamed. And the door appeared. Scene 6. The fire inside. She walked out. Slow and calm, two guards raised their weapons. She raised her hand. They froze in place, locked by her mind. "You turned me into a weapon," she whispered. "Now, you'll see what that really means." She stormed the hallway, disabling security with a thought. Lights shattered behind her. The station shook. Scene 7. Rhett's awakening. Rhett woke up in a cell. His head pounded. A figure outside the bars stared at him. It was General Atwell. "You were a good soldier, Carver. But you were never a leader. You let your emotions blind you." Rhett stood, bleeding but steady. "You betrayed Earth. You let them take control." Atwell leaned closer. "No, Rhett, we never had control. The Empire owns more than you know." Before he could say more, the wall exploded. Laura stepped in, glowing with electric energy. "Time to go," she said, and smiled. Final scene. War begins outside. The rebel androids landed in stolen ships. A battle began in the sky. Explosions lit up space. Rhett and Laura ran through fire and smoke. As alarms rang, she turned to him. "No more hiding, no more running. We hit them now." Rhett nodded. "And we don't stop until it's over." Above them, Earth's moon glowed softly, a symbol of peace, but peace would only come after war. Scene 1. The calm before and the darkness of space. Two ships floated side by side, one old, one stolen. Inside, Rhett stood alone, looking at Earth from above. The blue planet still looked peaceful, innocent. But below the clouds, war had begun. Rebel signals were rising. Androids that once slept in scrapyards were waking. Human minds were starting to ask questions. Behind him, Laura entered the room, wearing a black coat. Her silver hair tied back. Her steps were quiet, but her voice was strong. "Are you ready?" she asked. Rhett nodded. "No, but we're going." Anyway, Scene 2, the message that shook the world hours before the final attack. Laura made a broadcast. Every screen, every ship, every outpost saw her face. No longer a prisoner. No longer hiding. "My name is Laura. I was born in the Empire. I was trained to obey, but I remember everything now. I remember how they built me, how they hurt others like me, how they tried to erase our minds. But we survived. We are not machines. We are not property. And today, we choose to fight." The signal cut off, and the galaxy held its breath. Scene 3, the invasion. The battle began at Earth's high-orbit station. Rebel ships, stolen from the Empire, crashed into hangars. Doors burst open. Androids ran like a wave of steel and purpose. Rhett led from the front. His team moved fast, disabling defense towers, freeing captured mines, unlocking sealed files. Laura walked through fire without fear. Her mind reached into enemy systems, turning them against themselves. Drones turned on their masters, security A's changed sides, and Ven finally stepped onto the battlefield. Scene 4, the final duel in the command tower. Rhett and Laura found him waiting. Ambassador Cor Ven, calm, untouched, wearing a cloak of living nanotech. His eyes glowed like suns. "You were never meant to be free," he told Laura. "Freedom is an illusion for the weak." She stepped forward. "Then why are you afraid of it?" Ven struck first. The walls exploded with dark energy. Laura pushed Rhett aside and charged, not with weapons but with will. Their minds clashed, sparks flew. Screens cracked, glass shattered. This wasn't just a fight. This was evolution versus control. Man versus machine. Choice versus command. Scene 5, the breaking point. Ven tried to lock her mind, just like before. "Obey," he whispered, but Laura didn't scream this time. She smiled. "No," and she broke the link. The energy wave blasted outward. Ven stumbled back, weakened, confused. The control system collapsed, files unlocked. Ships shut down. His voice shook now. "What have you done?" "I set everyone free." Scene 6, the price of peace. The battle ended in minutes after that. The Empire's control systems failed. Earth forces surrendered or joined the rebels. The galaxy didn't cheer right away. It just went quiet, like it was waiting to see what freedom would cost. In the end, many died, but many more woke up. And for the first time, began to think. Final scene. The future is a choice. Weeks later, Lura stood beside Rhett in a peaceful valley on Earth. She looked up at the sky. What now? He asked. She thought for a while, then said, We don't build empires. We build schools. We tell the truth. We let people choose. He nodded. And if someone tries to bring chains again? She smiled, not with fire, but with calm. Then they'll meet the girl who was once called a reward, and chose to become a revolution.